welcome back to Screen Queen Stream. You all know me, I'm Jessica Cameron, and today I am very excited because I have the very talented, wonderful Canadian filmmaker, Raynor Shima.
Raynor Shima. She got it the first time.
I'm so paranoid about mispronouncing people's names. Welcome. So if you don't know Raynor's work, you probably do, and you're probably just not quite aware of it because he is one of the people behind Luchagore Productions.
Yes, that is very true. I'm usually the guy behind all the camera work. As most people know, Gigi Saul Guerrero is the director and co-creator and co-founder of Luchagore as well, and it's something that we've all been working together for a very long time. Also, to mention another co-founder, Luke Bramley, who's not here right now, but that's us. That's me. All the work that you guys see is all the work from Gigi, myself, and Luke.
Yeah. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys are not familiar with Gigi, obviously I will link her information down below, but also what rock have you been living under. So I want to start in because I feel like a lot of people are not familiar with how you got your start. So let's go back to like the early years. You as a child, did you like films? Were you into that world? Did you see yourself becoming a filmmaker? Like, what was your childhood in Canada like?
Well, it's too funny. I remember like one of the first oh my god, how do I even put it? First real scary movie. This is we really started getting into horror. I think I was about 3 years old. My dad, he was just like, you want to watch a scary movie? And I still remember to this day, and I was like, yeah, like 3 years old, right? And so what's he do? He puts on Alien.
Oh my god, I love you.
And I'm just totally, my mom's away at work or something like that. So just me and my dad at night and sitting here watching Alien, and it's just the show's going on, and the first time, the chest burst scene comes out, I'm just sitting there freaking out, and my dad's just like, oh, it's not real, you're gonna be fine. And, literally just not even consoling me in any way. He was basically just saying it's fine, it's not real. And I was just terrified for 3 months after that. I remember my mom found out that my dad showed me that movie and was just livid with him, basically saying how could you do that to him? He's too young to be watching something like that. But yeah, it was kind of, that led me into what else is out there, and I think I stopped watching horror movies for 2 years after that because I was trying to
till you were 5.
Yeah, pretty much till I was 5. And then we started getting, my older brother kind of started getting me into some, a little bit more, different things, and Jaws, and then Terminator, and it was those small things, and then I really started getting into the old school stuff of Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh my God, what else is that? I'm trying to even think.
Was this before you were 12?
It's probably much around there. Yeah, it was something I went into this horror phase, and I know for people that are kind of. I'm in my middle 30s now, but back in the days you can go to VHS rental house. We had Blockbuster, of course, was Rogers Video. So you could go to the store and you could rent horror movies, right? You could pick and choose, and that's what we were doing when we were young. And up to when I was 13, me and my friends were always, what's the next scary thing we could watch, and what can we get ourselves entertained with that we haven't seen in a while? And yeah, you just find the weird and abnormal stuff. I just miss those days of going to the video store and renting a VHS video and returning it 3 days later, or never returning it, right?
Now, side note, we'll get a little bit sidetracked because I have a question. Mm-hmm. In Ontario, we still have rental stores or convenient locations that rent DVDs and Blu-rays because the internet Wi-Fi isn't great when you get into Northern Ontario.
Oh, what?
So it's still a very common thing. Is it common in Vancouver?
It's dying out, incredibly. I think there's one in Vancouver, a local, and that's just in Vancouver. It's called Black Dog Video, and they have, I think they're one of the only still standing video rental stores for DVDs, VHS, video games still, and yeah, and there's not much. It's all gone. Oh, everything is completely digital now.
In my hometown of Owen Sound, Ontario, which is 21,000 people, we have at least 3 rental stores and at least 3 other convenience stores in the area that I know of that rent Blu-rays and DVDs.
Oh my god.
Because again, the Wi-Fi is so spotty, you can't really, in some places you can't stream.
Wow.
And the more north you go, the worse it becomes. I was shocked when I realized that there were 3 full-blown rental stores. And one of them took over the old Blockbuster store. So it's kind of an indie
store,
an indie rental store in like the corpse of what was Blockbuster.
Wow. It's amazing to see that, right? You know what I mean? Like, there's still some places, I guess, that still have it, right? Just Vancouver is definitely, you know, annulling it all out. I think even best if you go to the, you know, some of the big, like, you know, computer electronic stores that are selling DVDs, you're seeing less and less of it now. It's almost harder to purchase them physically. You got to order it online if you really want to find something, right? So, yeah, it's crazy.
Now, going back, you said that you were watching all these horror movies as a child. When was it that you first thought that making movies was what you wanted to do with your career?
Oh, I think I have to say, right after high school, I was really considering making, you know, I was like, I always loved movies, you know, growing up with movies, and just not even horror movies, just movies in general. I loved storytelling, and I loved that. And I think just right out of high school, I was considering taking that leap and to looking at a film school. But I think at that time, my neighbor actually said, "Do you want a really good paying job?" And I said, "Sure." And he's like, you know, come with me. I'll teach you kind of like, you know, for a week and see if you like it and if you can handle it. So I actually went into actually doing like a very like blue collar kind of style job of, you know, changing commercial truck tires. And so I got paid good. I moved up the ranks really fast, and I just kind of sidebarred it for a while. And I think I was with that company for about like 6-7 years until I decided to take a leave of absence at work and go traveling across Southeast Asia and to Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. And that's when I really had this, you know, epiphany of like seeing a different culture, exploring a different part of the world. I was just like, oh my God, there's so much to tell. And there's so many kind of stories, unique things. And I'm a very big history buff as well. And you know, Cambodia really opened it up for me. And for most people that don't know what happened in Cambodia in like 1980s was like the Cambodian genocide, which was something that I got to experience, you know, obviously the aftermath of what happened, but just like what was the remnants of what would happen during that time. And it was just so impactful to me that I was just like, wow, like these stories that I just really felt that could be told, and there's really not much about it. I was like, I want to get back into filmmaking. That's when I was like, I want to pursue it. Like I know it's going to be a challenge. I kind of, you know, realize the circumstances when you kind of take the turn in changing your career of what you want to do and going into filmmaking. It's going to be a, you know, not easy. It's going to be one of those challenging goals that you have to really pursue and be very motivated to keep on going with it. And that was I think I was about 25 years old when I did that. And I was like, quit my job, sign up for film school, and there we go.
So let's talk about film school.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people have really strong feelings about whether or not everyone should or whether or not people shouldn't. What are your thoughts? What did you gain about it, and what was the best part of your education? And also, how long was it? Because I think it's the Canadian educational system is different than the American one.
Yes.
So
I actually went to, you know, there's actually a couple film schools. I think two of the biggest one still right now are Vancouver Film School and Capilano University motion. What's it called? Gigi? Bosa? I know you're gonna get it. Oh, by the way. No, what's it called though?
What? What's called what?
We might have the beautiful and talented Gigi looking.
What's it? What's your question?
What's the North Vancouver's film school? Capilano what?
You mean my school?
Yeah.
You can't remember the name of your competing school,
Bosa.
Raynor?
No, they had it.
Well, the Bosa Center. Bosa Center for Film and Animation. Or Capilano University.
Yeah, but it's the Bosa Center for Film and Animation. So yeah, sorry. We can...
Boo!
Yeah.
You suck, Raynor!
Oh my God. Too funny. But yeah, I'll retrack. So yeah, so basically in Vancouver, you know, the top two film schools was Vancouver Film School and Capilano University, Bosa for Film and TV. I ended up going to Vancouver Film School because it was actually a 1-year intensive program. I really didn't want to put in 4 years in filmmaking, and I really felt, you know, as myself, I probably would have lost a lot of interest in it. But to go back on, you know, at that time, and I did that in 2011, so that's 8 years ago now. You know, I did a lot of research on both schools, and they actually kind of had a very similar styles, but different teachers and different progresses. One was just 1 year intensive, and the other was 4 years. I really found that the curriculum with teachers that were in at the time, and I was doing my research on them, they had a lot to offer. So I was like, okay, I really felt comfortable just doing a 1 year intensive, and I put my mindset to it, and saved up my money. I basically was like, okay, not going to work. I'm just going to strictly focus on school and whatever projects are dealt with during that time, and give it a shot. And I think to say is like, going on what you said about like some people have the questions of like, should I go to film school or should I not? And it really kind of, I think, and this is all very subjective, I think it's something where, you really have to believe in that. Like, do you think you need it, or do you, can you, I think the biggest thing is, can you commit to it? I think that's one of the biggest things with filmmaking and going to film school, is that film school is also a safe place to fail as well. And, if you want to try different departments in filmmaking, whether it be producing, directing, writing, cinematography, you get those chances to feel them out. Versus like just going outside of, not going to film school and basically just learning yourself, or watching YouTube videos, or watching other filmmakers, or watching movies and trying to, break them down in that sense. I think it's great for people that, don't really know what they want to be in. So for film school, you definitely have the opportunity to take those chances in these departments and really kind of hone them in. And you have teachers that are, well experienced and have also worked in the industry, kind of guide you in a way. And if you have this kind of natural talent for directing, you can really focus on that in film school. Or, even outside of film school, if you have a natural talent for directing, you could just be working with more and more actors and building up your resume as you go throughout. But I really, for myself, I was, I went into directing and producing. I love directing. I haven't done enough of it yet, but I really found that I love to produce. Like that was like my calling card. And my producing teacher, Carrie Green, was, that kind of person that really made me want to go forward with it and focus on, pursuing that element of what I've been doing so far. And I've always enjoyed it. And, as a producer, it was something to be creative and working with the budgets, working with everybody, knowing everything in that sense, and overseeing it all. And not to say just micromanaging people is just, I think a good producer is definitely somebody that, is really, lenient with the crew and basically entrusting everybody to do their job the way they need to do it, and, not micromanaging them in a sense. And then again, getting the director's vision out there as much as they can, and working with the director on creating a great piece of work. Yeah. I think that's enough. Is that good?
I think it depends on the type of learner that you are.
Yeah.
I also think school, for me anyways, in my opinion, it's great for a platitude of things, not just learning the technique, which is so useful, but I think you learn responsibility.
Yeah.
You learn the importance of deadlines. You learn what happens when you do not meet the deadlines, repercussions, discipline.
Yeah.
You learn having to wake up super early when you don't want to, having to stay super late. Mm-hmm. Having 10 deadlines that all happen to be in the same 48 hours, and it's out of your control, and you just have to figure it out.
Yeah.
So I love all of that.
Mm-hmm. So
I think that can be a value. So I went to a 4-year program for fashion design and merchandising.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't go to film school, but the lessons I learned, I still use today.
Yeah.
Even though I don't obviously do anything with my actual degree other than play with wardrobe occasionally on film sets.
I'm just like, I like it.
So if you're a filmmaker and then Gigi and you're like, oh crap, this outfit broke and our wardrobe person is busy, call me and I'll fix it. And you'll see me like sewing on my own sets because something's not perfect.
But there's the things that we got to do ourselves, right? And I think it's definitely, if you're able to do it, it's great because again, you're knowing what to do and fix it on the fly. If somebody's isn't available, you're capable of doing it.
In the film world, you have to be prepared to do anything.
That is one of the biggest. That is one of the biggest things in the indie film world, especially on low budget stuff. You have to wear many hats, right? And you have to entrust that people are going to also wear many hats because it's just hard for 3 to 4 or 5 people to make a big show. Unless you really carefully plan it out. And sure, you can do it in the right circumstances. But majority of the time, it's you have to really entrust your crew, whether it be 10 or plus more, and really to be very transparent on your vision of your film with everybody. And I think that's what makes a great successful film, and not just not the storytelling and the acting and the cinematography, but also be very, 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 before you even go into production, is like breaking down everything with your cast and your crew, and everybody going on the day, knowing what's happening way beforehand. It just totally changes how you shoot on the day. I think it's one of those, great things that, if we're gonna get back into like film school, is like, yeah, they kind of teach you these little methods and stuff like that you may not know if you try to just go outside of that, not cheat the system, but go around that. You will learn the hard way when you start working with more and more experienced people. So I think it really kind of gives you that testament to know how to, properly run a set and organize. And like you said, kind of going back to, disciplining yourself to be up early and staying up late, because you're probably going to be working 16 hours sometimes, right? 16, 18, we've done 20 hours. Oh my God.
And it sucks, but you do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do, right? And you get it done. I think that's one of the biggest things. We see a lot of people that, they'll shoot something and they'll never come out. They'll just be like, well, I'm still working on it. And it's just like, get it done. Even if you have to do a day job to keep working, get it done. If you can just get a couple and less than an hour just to take a crack at it every day. Don't just procrastinate. I think one of the biggest things is procrastination.
Agreed.
I think we all do procrastinate. I do it every now and then too, and I have to get myself to snap out of it, right? So it's one of those things that you just really want to, build these habits of just going forward and taking 2 steps forward, not like 2 steps backwards. You really want to feel that you're, doing something that's going to have a good product come out.
Oh, completely. I also think some of the best indie filmmakers are the ones that don't have the ego, because at the end of the day, if you're doing anything indie, and which typically is lower budget, you can't have an ego. Like, you just can't. You could be the director and the executive producer, the person putting up all the money, and you also might be the person at 4 a.m. picking up the trash and cleaning up craft services or doing whatever, because somebody has to do it.
Yeah.
And it's more. I've been on sets where it's like, it's more important that like my PAs get at least 8 hours of sleep than it is for them to stay. And I'd much rather let me do that, because I know I'm going to be bright-eyed and chippy, because I'm, it's my movie, it's my baby. But let you go get your rest, because you need it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, and that's a big thing too, right? And if people are coming out on their own time, and you're only basically paying them for food, you really want to treat them with the utmost respect, because they're definitely coming out to support you and help you. But you also have to be very great, appreciative that they're out there working with you, so they have a really good attitude towards when you're out there on the day and working. Because some things get crazy. Sometimes things get hectic, and you can start panicking or you can start freaking out, and that's not the kind of things you need to be doing on set, because that can definitely bring morale down. And I find that if you start, that ego starts growing and you start just having a really big attitude, it reflects on the rest of your team and stuff like that. And people, they may not want to work with you after. Right? So I think it's just like, we always have on our sets, be very appreciative of everyone that's on our shows. And we always, feed them really well. I think that's one of the biggest things. If you have no money, and if you have a little bit of money, obviously you need to put money towards your film, but also to feeding your crew, put more money towards the food, and good food, because your crew will be so happy if they're being fed well, and just not like pizza and like Subway sandwiches and stuff like that. But if you can, get some home cooked meals, or begging people's mums or somebody to give you Gigi's parents was cooking for us for so many years, until Romy finally gave up and said no. It was too funny. She was like, I'm not cooking for you guys anymore. Your crew keeps getting bigger. So
She'll still do it. She
still went. No, she did it last time, Max. No. When was the last time she did it? Oh yeah, she did do it. But she was kind of mad. She's like, I had to come at like 5 a.m. And I was like,
but she'd probably be more mad if you didn't ask her to do it.
Yeah.
Bing, bing, bing.
It's true.
We have a winner. Yes.
She has turned us down once though, before. But yeah, she was like, no, that's too many. But and again, if you can, it's just something that I find that really, filmmaking and production, it's just a huge cogwheel, with many moving parts, that you need to have the right people within you to, make a really good film together, and it hopefully flows well. And that's just not from filming, it's from post-production as well. Finding those right people that are willing to work with you on your vision and bringing it to life on the cutting room floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also find, for me, I always say, figure out what everyone's like. Everybody has one or two things that just makes their day better.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they're usually not things that are a lot of money. So, for example, when I cast Heather, Heather really likes chocolate-covered cranberries and blueberries and the little Starbucks in the can, which are like $7.99 for a 4-pack. So, and not like too expensive for me to buy for the whole crew, but enough that I can tuck these things and buy them just for her and then use that when she, like, I see the fact that she's a little bit lethargic or like, you know, the long days are getting to her. I'll be like, here's a gift from me to you. And she's just so perked up. You know, I had a DP once where his thing was those Mountain Dew Kickstart energy drinks. He just loved them.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it's like we all have those little things where they just make us feel a little bit more better. They give us a little bit more pep in the step. I was on another set that was going horribly awry, and I said to the director, I was just an actor on this one, but I was like, hey, people are getting really tired, and they're, you know, here's my thoughts. I always do this. Like, what's one thing everybody can get? He was like, get me a list of their one things, and I will make sure we get them.
Oh, wow.
And one of them was, because we were shooting in the house, but I was shocked. It was a crew member, and he said, you know what I really would like? Just one of those styrofoam coolers filled with ice and drinks that are ice cold. The drinks are coming from the fridge, but there's a difference between fridge cold and ice cold.
That's true.
And ice cold just makes me happy. And literally, like, I think, like, the director was like, why did you, this is great. He's like, I $36, and everyone's, like, super energetic for the next 5 days. I was like, yeah, I know. Like, it's often not the money thing. It's, like, those little touches.
It's little simple things, right?
And asking the question, like, what is your thing? What is that one thing that would make you feel better? You know, I had another actor who she was like, you know what? I didn't bring B vitamins. And B vitamins, cool, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I can afford B vitamins. Fuck yeah.
Well, that's the biggest thing too, right? Is like, yeah, asking people what do you need, or, you know, for instance, going on one of our shoots that we did last year, called "We Came from the Sea," our lead actor, and it was just pretty much himself the whole show. We had this amazing location in West Vancouver. I think, you know, we paid a pretty good chunk of money to, you know, shoot at this location, and our actor, but he actually lived quite far from the location, so really he's just like, you know, can I get a ride back? And I was like, well, would you like to stay in this, like, multi-million-dollar house for the 2 days that we're shooting here? And he's like, you know what? Yeah, I'll do that instead. And he was super happy. He was like waking up every morning with this oceanside view.
Nice.
He was just like super ecstatic. He's like, this is just so great. He's like, can I bring my wife down? And I'm like, sure, man, you can totally do that. I'm like, you know, you're here with us. And he was super happy. He's like, I felt like I was getting into character because I was sleeping here. And I was just like, I think you were just enjoying the really, you know, oceanside property view of West Vancouver, which was amazing, by the way. But yeah, he was just super ecstatic.
Hey guys, thank you so very much for joining. This concludes part 1 of my interview with Raynor. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're so welcome, Jess.
Now, where can people find more information about you and your current projects?
Fuck. Yeah, you can follow at Raynor, Ray in Motion. I don't know your Instagram. Ray in Motion. Ray in Motion on Instagram. Ray in Motion and Twitter. Raynor Shima on Facebook. That's it.
You're not on YouTube?
What the hell? No,
Luchagore on YouTube.
Luchagore everywhere. Luchagore for life. Do you want to say how much you love working with Gigi real quick?
Yeah.
Right? That must have been the highlight of your entire life.
Yeah, working with Gigi, I mean, I want to produce all her films. I think Gigi's the most talented director in the world. I, Raynor Shima, will forever be her slave and will forever continue to lose hair because Gigi stresses me out.
You realize verbal contracts are recognized as legally binding in the state of California.
Shh.